Taking a drive through Phuket today, Phuket, Thailand, where I have been lucky enough to call home for about 7 years. But it's changed a lot in that time, in a pretty surprising way. So this is the road, the main road leaving Phuket, the southern tip of Phuket, called Roadside. And this is actually a light traffic day because it's raining, so there's fewer motorbikes. This is just to give us an idea of how clogged this island has become. Normally on weekends, there's going to be heavier traffic heading south towards the beach. But this is actually a really nice day for traffic, even considering the rain. I'll probably make it from north to south and top to bottom of the island in maybe an hour, maybe a little bit longer. So really not bad timing. On really clogged days, it can be 2.5 hours easy. I would say first and foremost, situations around the world maybe have been contributing factors, but it's a popular place. A lot of people like to come here for their vacation, but it's gone really from a quiet, peaceful island to pretty clogged. So I find myself taking drives to leave Phuket to clear my head. And I don't want as a friend put it, I don't want the universe to think that I'm ungrateful. I really like how he said that. But at the same time, it's sad to see a place that used to be one way and now it's another way, and it's not all positive. And I don't really want to make this video ranting and complaining, but it is interesting. You know, it's something worth talking about. And I think that there are solutions. I guess that's what gives me hope and why I've stuck around here for so many years. Even after I've had this feeling that it's very similar to a place that I left, Los Angeles, for the same reason. LA is really crowded, and there's just a different energy when you're in a very busy place, and I think it kind of builds up after a certain amount of time. Maybe you can't always articulate and put your finger on what you're feeling, but for me there's a few contributing factors. Maybe it's just getting older is probably one of them, but the noise, the collective noise of traffic and people. You know, in downtown LA it was a lot of traffic, and the people noises were, sadly, there's a large mentally ill and homeless population there. So I'm very lucky these days that that I'm not exposed to that. And I don't mean to sound insensitive by saying that, but it does things to you if you're not prepared for it, or if you desensitize to it like I did. I don't think that's a good thing either. Kind of takes the humanity out of it. But back to Phuket, it's still a beautiful place. I would say here, you know, come here on your holiday. It's lovely, but expect it to be maybe a bit different from what you've seen in some of the popular Instagram videos or YouTube shorts, whatever you're watching. Because it's changed a lot in a few years, and I'm not sure if all of this is depicted, but I'm going to switch the angle so you can see what I'm driving through right now, and maybe understand why this lovely paradise island could use some infrastructure updates would be very helpful, as we're all aware, us locals here. But there's got to be another solution as well. I think the island is supposed to support 300,000 or 400,000 people. And I think last high season it was at 1.2 million, was it? Maybe more. If you know, let me know in the comments. But it's definitely a visible change. And I think for the purpose of Phuket remaining this country's tourism hub, on which they're trying to continually expand, I think there could be some focus put on how to support that revenue. We've got a lot of people coming now. It's one of the most popular spots in the world, but roads are falling apart in some places, which is kind of scary. By and large, I still think this is one of the most phenomenal countries and one of the most beautiful places in this country. So that's why I'd like to see it improve, rather than just focus on all of the negative. Because there are still shockingly pristine places in this island that, by the looks of it, you'd be surprised these places still exist here when you consider, you know, the square kilometers, the size of the island, the population. But I'm driving north, and I'm gonna go to Krabi. And really, the second I cross the bridge, every time leaving Phuket, you just get this feeling. And it's like some sort of decompression. Which sounds funny, leaving one tropical island to go to another, essentially. Another beach town, rather. But I would get the same feeling in LA. I used to get this, I guess, claustrophobic, anxious feeling, and couldn't really put my finger on what it was, and the solution was just to have a change. And so I think, at least for me personally, I'm able to appreciate a place quite a bit more if I'm experiencing some changes, some other places, some variation. And then when I come back, I'm able to see maybe a bit more of the positive. In some cases, I come back and the negative aspects are even more extreme than when I left. But for me personally, I love venturing out. If you live in Phuket, or if you've spent a lot of time here and you haven't ventured out into the other just surrounding provinces, let alone when you get down into Trang and Patalung and Nakhon Si Thammarat, there's a lot of really pretty places that are just half a day's drive away or less. You know, Krabi is 2 or 3 hours. So I would highly recommend it. But if you're gonna go, choose a rainy day to make your drive. Because man, there's a lot of traffic. There's a nice little viewpoint if you take this road to the left that lets you go beneath this bridge and see the ocean and cars passing above. A bad little spot. This is the Sarasin Bridge, which separates Phuket from Phang Nga. Got the ocean to our left. Can't see that too well. Pretty much as soon as you cross this bridge and get into the Phang Nga Province, everything kind of opens up. The roads get larger, there's less traffic, fewer people, more nature, less of a concrete jungle, I guess. It's not to say that Phuket doesn't have its very beautiful places, but it's quite a noticeable difference when you cross this bridge and get into Phang Nga. about 20 kilometers north of the Sarasin Bridge. It's quite a busy day actually in Phang Nga. Normally there's a lot less traffic, but it's moving quite a bit faster than in Phuket. And you can see the difference in the roads, like it's just not as built up as much on either side of the road. You've got rubber plantations to the left, you've got some jungle to the right, some houses. So the further north we go, the less congested it gets, the more open the roads are. And soon we will be in Krabi. You can see how much cleaner and nicer the roads are in Phang Nga. Part of that just comes with lesser population. But it's noticeably, visibly cleaner here. As you're looking at the road itself, alongside the road, zero trash whatsoever. I'm going to take the camera off this mount here so that you can see what we're driving through, because it's really pretty. That feeling of like a load off my back. Just driving on these roads up here is so pretty. Phuket is like very congested. I've used the word concrete jungle, but I think that's an exaggeration. There's just a lot of buildings. It's not really what you expect from a tropical island. This kind of road is what you would expect to be driving on in Thailand, near the beach, near the sea. I'm going to switch the view here so that you can see, even on this main road that is moving pretty quick. There's very little traffic, moving nice and fast today. It's just so clean here, and it's so pretty. It's like there's, everywhere you look, there's eye candy. So just the drive itself from Phuket to Phang Nga is really enjoyable. In this case, I'm going to Krabi today, so I've hit Phang Nga. I've got about another hour or so of just lovely scenery to drive through before I hit the destination. I'm going to switch this up here so that you can see what I'm seeing. So this is the main road north of the bridge. Pardon me. As you can see, we've got just these lovely hills or mountains on the horizon. The video really doesn't do it justice. And on rainy days like this, you get these clouds forming right around the tips of these some of these rocks. Oh yeah, we're coming up on one here. I don't know if we're going to be able to see this. Let's turn this down. So up on the horizon here, I don't know if the fog is gonna come out on video. Yeah, I guess you can see it. It's just really magical. Even as you've got 7-Eleven and other businesses and stuff at street level, driving through this is so enjoyable. We are going from Phang Nga to Krabi. So we are headed east. And so instead of going north along the coastline, we're headed east through these mountains, which are just beautiful. Pretty much eye candy in every direction. Sometimes it's kind of hard to keep your eyes on the road with all of this this on a motorbike many times, and I'll say it's more of an adventure. It's much more fun, but it's a serious bummer on days like this when it starts raining. That being said, I found that just one other example of Thai people being awesome. Almost every time I've been in one of these scenarios where I'm driving on the motorbike and I get caught in a rainstorm and it's like a total whiteout. I can't see anything. There's nowhere to stop. Inevitably, someone helps me. Like, I can't remember a time. I'm just thinking now that I've been in one of these situations and I haven't gotten some assistance, which is just really, really lovely. I mean, I don't want to say that in the US we don't help each other, but I would say the chances of a random passerby stopping on a freeway to help some troubled looking person that's soaking wet, I don't know, I'd venture to say it's probably more common here. Turning onto 4311, which we will stay on for about 80 kilometers until we make it to Krabi. And the road just only gets prettier. In a couple kilometers here, we're going to start seeing these massive stones and mountains right next to the freeway. Along the way, there's lots of, I think, pretty cool things to see. Little temples, national forests, hot springs, viewpoints. We've passed it. We've long since passed it, but there's a viewpoint at the Sarasin bridge. There's a viewpoint a little bit northeast of the bridge called Samet Nangchi, which gives you the view of the whole Phang Nga Bay. We are headed east right now towards the Krabi province. Had a little bit of traffic, but I'm just surrounded by mountains with lovely fog on the top. Couldn't be a better drive. It's pretty common when you're driving here, especially on these main roads in between provinces, to have these massive trucks. And I don't think it's like a road rage thing. I don't think they're aggressively doing it, but they will ride your ass until you move out of the way. And the interesting thing about, I don't think this is just in Thailand. I think this is Southeast Asian culture in general, because I've seen it in every country I've been to. But it's like they use the horn, or they flash their brights, not as a F you, get out of my way. Well, sometimes it's get out of my way, but it's more of a warning, right? Like, this guy's flashing his brights and he's passing us rather aggressively. Fair enough. But what I appreciated here is that there's very little aggression. So I think the tendency, especially as an American, is someone's riding your ass. It's naturally unsafe, so it might irritate you a little bit, because what if I have to brake unexpectedly? You're going to rear end me. It's just not a safe practice. But, you know, the assumption is that the person behind you is doing it to piss you off. I think it can be. I'm guilty of that all the time. And I guess we have to remember, sometimes we're just not thinking, you know? It's like what I gather here is when they're not flashing their brights and they're just riding my ass, people have places to be. I don't know, I don't see as much road rage in Thailand. Probably most commonly among the foreigners. Foreigner to foreigner, I mean. Or farang, as we're called here. But yeah, another thing would be the horn. You know, the usage of the horn is more of like a beep beep, I'm coming up, you know, don't hit me. Whereas last time I was home in the US, I tried to use that method, as I've become accustomed to here, forgetting where I am, of course. And just the second you make a sound, you're gonna get met with pure aggression. Definitely the finger. And I wonder if there was ever a time for Americans when we used the horn in a way that wasn't, you know, letting you know how I feel about your stupidity, instead of, I think, the intended purpose, which is, hey, watch out. And something about the double tap, the beep beep, I don't know why, but it makes it seem much less aggressive. Maybe it's just me. I use it on the car, or when I'm in the car, you know, to let a motorbike know I'm behind them. I don't typically flash my brights to tell people to get out of my way, but when people do it to me, I move. Which is another thing. If someone is riding your ass in the States and flashing their brights, the last thing that you're gonna do is move out of the way for them. What are you gonna do probably is slow down. I know I've done that myself. Not recently, because I'm scared of road ragers. But here, you know, it's common. It's like, hey, I've got somewhere to be. Get out of my way. And people just do it. And there's no aggression about it. It's incredible, actually, to be able to do normal day-to-day things without any sense of aggression. All the good stuff on this drive. I admire Thai people for their ingenuity and their ability to do things that are just bloody terrifying, like whatever is happening with this pickup truck. What they are hauling. That kid on the back there, I guess not a kid. They have their way of doing things. It might appear incredibly unsafe. It might be unsafe, but that's how they roll. Hopefully at some point we'll see a mother driving a motorbike while carrying a propane tank with 2 kids on the back that each have a bag of heavy groceries and a chicken. It's a very common sight here. So the first time I was in Thailand, I was in Bangkok and I needed to get a taxi. This was before Uber and Grab. Actually, they had come out, but I wasn't using Grab in Thailand yet, which is the Uber equivalent. So I think the hotel called me a taxi, or maybe I had a number or something. And the taxi shows up, and it's a guy on a motorbike. And so I was kind of like, oh no, I ordered a taxi. I'm good. Because I wasn't about to get on the back of some dude's motorbike my first time in Bangkok, knowing that we would need to take the freeway. Somehow he convinced me. He just like ushered me on, and I went for it. What the hell? And then as we're turning onto the freeway, the on-ramp, he tells me that we have 2 more passengers to pick up. what? Yeah. So he no joke, we have 2 more passengers to pick up, and they are a mother and her young infant child, who she shockingly hands to me as she's getting on the motorbike. I mean, this all happened, it was probably like a 9-minute ride, but it's one of those things I'll never forget. It was just so shocking. Like, one, my first time being on the back of someone's motorbike in a foreign country, you know, driving through Thai traffic, weaving in between the lanes. We're on the freeway. I have no helmet. I have no protective gear. What a rush. And then we stop to pick up our 2 more passengers. Mind you, we are now 4 human beings on one motorbike, which I later learned is just not that uncommon here at all. It's actually quite normal. But we stop, and this woman, as if it's nothing, as if this is normal and I should be expecting this, she just kind of hands her kid to me and then turns her back and is doing something in her bag. And that may have been the first time I've ever held a baby. I don't know, but I wasn't comfortable with it. I don't have a baby of my own, let alone do I want to be responsible for holding a stranger's on a motorbike taxi. So that's what happened. Luckily, she took him back. She took the child back once she got on the bike. I was on the back, so I guess I was the security, right? There was the driver, mother and child, and me. I had nowhere to put my feet because they were occupied, the little kickstands. So my legs were just kind of dangling, trying not to hit the freeway, which was whizzing by at 70 miles an hour. What an experience, really. Yeah, I'm just trying to hang on to the back of the seat, and every time he accelerates, I'm getting pushed back, thinking if this is how I go out, at least it'll be a good story. We'll probably be caught on CCTV. So make sure when you're ordering a taxi, if you want a car, specify car. Found a little coffee shop back here. I'm about an hour out. Looked nice. Number one, I'm always a fan of supporting these little roadside businesses because I don't know how in the hell they stay operational. I mean, I know there's a lot of traffic here, car traffic passing by, but still, I mean, we're kind of in the middle of damn nowhere. So let's hope it's good. Where was it? Here we are. I also need a cup of coffee. It's really nice on a cloudy, overcast day as you're driving through the jungle to somewhere pretty. Overtaking lanes is really common here, especially when you got these big trucks. So you got to be careful when you're driving. Number one, to make sure that people don't overtake and smack into you, whether you're on a motorbike or a car. And number two, when you're driving behind someone, sometimes the tendency is to follow them as they are. This is a low curb. I hope I don't hit that. There we go. The tendency is to follow them as they're overtaking, and then sometimes you can find yourself, you know, right behind a car that's moving towards another car that's stopped, right? And it's going to get out of the way, but you don't have time. Okay, so this is, I don't know the name of this place. What is the name? Ban Chian Coffee Cake. Let's see if they've got some real beans or if it's instant. That dude was super sweet. Chien. Ban Chien Coffee. So this is his store. Yeah, he was a really nice guy. I think on the way back I will stop. Maybe try to talk to him a little bit more. Lovely place too. And I love how literal the business names are here. And I love that people can do that. Like, it's just this dude's house on the side of this, you know, fairly busy road, but it's not too noisy. He's got this incredible coconut plantation just behind his place here. Let's see, how do I release this? There we go. I mean, look at that. That's his backyard. He's got his house. He's got this beautiful shop. We're near there's a sign, Ban Chien Coffee Cake. What a great way to run a business. No wonder Thai people are so happy. And this is the land of smiles. So we are back on this road after getting some coffee. Still about 1 hour out. This is what I meant earlier. Just about how enjoyable this drive is. You're on these big, massive open roads. I mean, there's a speed limit, but it's not like they enforce it here. I guess that's a moot point. That doesn't really matter. The point is that you just feel so free, and after being in a really congested place, to visit somewhere like this is just, it's really nice to have this be the way to your destination. Oops. I am still an American, so I will forever hit the turn signal as I am, or the windshield wipers as I am trying to signal. Just gonna see if there's anything interesting in here. Looks like a tour bus has stopped. I'm gonna check out this little gift shop. Actually, I don't think they have what I want. It's like a shake stand. Love some shakes, just not right now. Got a biker crew here. Coordinated colors too, and shirts. Got the turquoise hair, got the bikes. I like it. There's a lot of riding groups up here. I think it's just because it's so pretty, right? And you got these massive open roads, most of which, I mean, this is pretty straight, so it's like 80 kilometers of perfectly smooth, flat, mostly straight road. So I would guess it is a biker group's dream. So now we are getting much closer, and as you can see, even more beautiful. Look at those mountains. It's about 5 p.m. on a Saturday evening, just outside of Phang Nga Province. There's Krabi town, and there's Phang Nga. Phang Nga is the more touristy, I guess busier place. Krabi town is, I guess you could say it's probably more local. But this drive is just absolutely beautiful. If you're visiting here, if you live here, and you haven't taken this drive yet, I would highly encourage it. The gas here is not self-pump, so you have to wait for your attendant. Reminds me of being a kid on the East Coast. I don't know, do they still do that in New Jersey? Or are you allowed to pump your own gas? Anyways, it's kind of nice. You get to stay inside your car, and somehow it's okay to leave your car on here as they're pumping your gas. My entire life, I've always known that that would blow up your car, yet it is a common thing here. So I'm just sitting here, air conditioning on, car on, as it's being filled up. And it's funny being in places like basically anywhere outside of Phuket, which is super busy tourist land. If you speak an inkling of Thai, it's like so endearing to them. They're so impressed, and it's very sweet. Picture the US where you would not get the same treatment. Their service centers here are legit. Most of them are massive like this, have crazy amount of parking. They always have a 7, usually a 5-star chicken. They love their Dunkin' Donuts or KFC in place of 5-star. And then like a little coffee shop. But they're always super clean. Got everything you need, nice and easy. And again, you get that lovely mountain range in the back. Really love driving on these mountain roads here. Once you start getting close, they just get even more beautiful as you're getting higher up in the mountains. Roads start getting a bit curvy. The trees start to kind of form a canopy over the road in some places. Yeah, look at this. Just lovely. I should be arriving right around sunset. One of my favorite things is a quiet sunset in the jungle where you can't hear any cars or motorbikes or anything. Just the sounds of the birds, the insects. Kind of reminds you of being a kid playing outside. Driving through the jungle here, about 5 minutes out. These roads are just such an experience to drive on these, because they're literally in the middle of the jungle. You feel like you're in the middle of nowhere, but there's still some cars and traffic here and there. To the right and left of me, there are rocks, big hills, mountains. Not sure what to call those, but such a dense, huge pothole. Really lucky I missed that. Yeah, such a dense jungle here. You can really see how the light has gone down. Okay, these roads are not as well maintained as I was making them out to be. But fair enough, we're in the middle of the jungle. So we are going to a cafe that is another 2 or 3 kilometers in here. So we'll see what it looks like. This is our turn onto a smaller road. the side of these rocks at sunrise or sunset is really something. Wow, look at that. Not sure if that is a house. Looks like some sort of business. Yeah, this is as good as it gets for exploring in Thailand by car or motorbike. Cute little dog running beside the car, protecting his grounds. Watch out, buddy. The street dogs here are usually very nice, unless you're out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, we're about to enter a little gravel road, dirt road here. If you're in the middle of nowhere, they're more like guard dogs, so you got to be careful. They look scary, but they're probably not going to bite you, but you don't want to test that. So if you ever find yourself in one of these settings, you're hiking or something like that, and you're out in the jungle, and you come upon a group of dogs, it's probably because there's someone's house nearby, and they're just trained to make noise. So don't get too scared. Wow, look at this. Look at this. There are a bunch of fallen palm trees here. That is really something. We're in this very dense garden. I think we should get out. I don't know why I say we. It's just me here. Apologize for the shakiness. I need to turn off the car so you can experience just how quiet it really is. Guessing these were downed. Oh, this isn't a fallen palm. These are just all the leaves grouped together. It's just somebody being very tidy with their plantation. I could live out here. So this place I'm going is a restaurant and also a hotel or a resort. And because it is nearing sundown, I may just end up staying there if it looks decent. You know, they always say it's about the journey and not the destination. Blah blah, but it really is. I have more fun making these drives sometimes than I do when I'm actually at the place where I'm going, because it's all so new and exciting. Ooh, look at that, that's nasty. Let's clean that up a bit. I love when I see land for sale out here. I always stop and check it out. It's just so interesting to see some of these massive plots. Trying not to get the car super muddy. reached the destination. What a beautiful place. In the middle of the jungle. Just surrounded by these hills and rock walls. Other than a few guests and the odd dog. Just got that sound of the insects. Really interesting shaped rooms too. I love the resorts here because they're all so unique. Cute little place. It's got a lovely swimming pool down here. Something I'm super excited about that you don't normally see in Thailand. A screen door. You can sleep with the sounds of the mountains, the jungle rather, and not get eaten alive. Look at this. What a place to wake up. Price to So it really says something about Thailand that this is the resort right now. Silent, dark, absolutely massive. You can't really see, but I've sent you the screenshots already. And not a single security guard here. Probably 100 villas. And not a single security guard.
สวัสดีครับผมอยู่กับชื่อนัทครับชื่อนัทครับผมหรือว่าเรียกว่าโดนัทก็ได้ครับดีรู้จักครับผมชื่อคอเลนครับพี่คอเลนวันนี้คุณรู้สึกขอบคุณอะไรนะครับก็วันนี้นะครับก็ขอบคุณที่ว่าที่คอเลนมาที่นี่แล้วก็มีอาหาร
The next day I was in town and spotted Kupiman Hotel.
ไข่ผัดเนื้อแล้วก็ข้าวเป็ดเยอะใช่ไหมครับใช่ครับครับครับวันนี้ขอบคุณสำหรับทุกคนที่นี่ครับผมก็ขอบคุณนะครับพูดไทยเก่งมาก
พูดไทยนิดหน่อยครับ
ได้กี่ปีแล้วพูดไทยกี่ปีแล้ว
ประมาณ5 ปีแล้ว
5 ปีใช่ไหมอันนี้ก็พูดภาษาอังกฤษไม่ค่อยเก่งก็ได้นิดนึงก็ได้ที่นี่แหละก็เป็นแฟมิลี่
ว่าคุณพูดภาษาอังกฤษก็ผมพูดภาษาไทย
เซฟใช่ไหม
พูดภาษาไทยดีกว่า